Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Jedi Mantis Tastes. And this month we are trying, this here, Laphroaig. So this is a whiskey from Islay, the Isle of Islay, single malt Scotch whiskey. It's the select version. You can find this currently in the supermarkets. Created from hand-selected oak casks for perfect balance and flavour, and it is described as being the most richly flavoured of all Scotch whiskies. The distillery established in 1815, distilled on the remote island of Islay off the west coast of Scotland. Distilled and bottled in Scotland by D. Johnson and Company, Laphroaig Distillery, Isle of Islay. It's 40% volume, very, very heavily peated. You'll see when I open the tube here, I have already opened the bottle and had a drink, purely because there was a night when I needed a drink and it was all I had left, so I just opened it. So it is one I've had before. There is a story to this as well. This was my granddad's favourite whiskey. Or so I'm told by my grandma almost every time I mention whiskey to her. And he died before I was able to have a drink with him of it. So it's a one I got the year he died. We had it at New Year's Eve. I don't know whether it was the select, it might have been a different one. But going over the back, the special Laphroaig is created from carefully selected casks of each of our key styles, stretching back in time, with one notable addition. The heart of the spirit is drawn from a final maturation in new American oak casks, rarely used for Scotch whisky maturation. Maybe once, there's more and more seem to be using American oak. 6 months of this maturation takes place in the highest, warmest reaches of our warehouses during the Scottish summer. With spirit selected from our master distiller from quarter cask, our PX cask and triple wood European oak casks, it represents a subtle blending of peat, oak and sweetness. Bottled at natural colour, the result is an exquisite Laphroaig with our trademark peat reek, R-E-E-K, matched by an additional layer of complexity and depth brought about by the fusion of the maturation styles and different oaks, which we hope will surprise and delight you. No tasting notes on this one, but knowing in advance this is going to be very strongly peated, so it's going to be the predominant flavour is the peat and smoke. Inside the bottle there is a little leaflet here, which opens up a little bit more information on there. Basically saying Laphroaig is your portal to Islay. Uncork a bottle and the aroma of soft spicy peat smoke will take you on a journey straight to the heart of the island's community. And they describe you as being a friend of Laphroaig. And this leaflet entitles you to own your own square foot of the island and a membership. As a friend, visit www.laphroaig.com where you can find the exact location of your plot, download your plot certificate, send messages to your next door neighbours, join in our chat forum, share stories and recipes, post photographs, bid in our charity auctions, enter competitions, find out about upcoming events, create your own virtual whiskey cabinet, and of course buy our whiskey and merchandise at our online shop at a friend's discount. So if you like Laphroaig, that's very much a thing to do, because you're going to be able to get Laphroaig for less. We don't make friends easily, but the ones we do are for life. Just realised when I've done that, I don't know if it's picking up, but you can probably get my unique number. I'm not going to do this, so if you want to do that, go ahead, doesn't bother me. Unique reference number, lost friends of Laphroaig. Whilst we look forward to chatting with you online, we really hope you'll come and visit Islay and your personal piece of it. We will supply the right attire for you to identify your plot, a pair of size 12 Wellingtons, approximately 1 foot long, headgear to guard against low-flying geese, string to secure your trousers against inquisitive storts, and an anchor. On the breeziest days we wouldn't want you blown out to sea. That sounds like a treat. So that's the little leaflet you get. As I say, if you like Laphroaig, that's probably a good thing to do. Join the Friends of Laphroaig. Now onto the bottle. There it is. And you can see I've had about half of it. 40% as I said, natural cover, this is the colour, same information on there. And I've never actually done a tasting where I've had a little bit of water, so that is going to be an experience for me. That might open up to a bit more notes of different flavours in there. But you can see here, fairly light in colour, and that's because it's that natural colour. And if they're finished off in new American oak casks, they're not going to sort of like put a lot of colour into that. It's generally the previously filled casks that are going to give that colour to the different whiskey. So this will pick up from the previous ones, but that final one's not adding anything else to it. So we'll add a little bit of water in there now. It is 40% already, so we only want a little bit just to break open those flavours. Straight away, full of peat, full of smoke. But there's a hint of fruit behind that now with that water in. And it's very much that is the main sort of aroma is that peat, but it's not enough to put me off. I'm not turning away at it. Not much on the initial taste. Very bland, that could be the water. But the aftertaste, your mouth fills with the sense of peat and the smoke in there. Fairly subtle on the smoke. It is predominantly the peat that's coming through. No age statement on this one either. Obviously it mentions it was in the new American oak casks for 6 months, but obviously it's not a 6-month-old whiskey. It doesn't declare any age, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be more than a year. So not much to say about that one. The water certainly makes it a bit smoother. Although peated whiskies generally generally are smooth. From what I've experienced, I haven't experienced a lot. If you've watched this channel, you know it's a fairly new thing I'm trying to get into, is the peated whiskies. And I think when I first tried this, that first year I got this for the New Year's Eve, it was too much. The peat was very overpowering. Didn't really like it. Took a punt on getting another bottle after trying various peated whiskies throughout the history of this channel, and I've got to say I think my taste is adapting, because that peat now is quite pleasant. I do quite like it. We're gonna have a bit now without the water. Try not to pour as much in. I think I poured a little bit too much in that last one. Let's put that cork back in. So give that a swirl, and let's see what the aroma is like without that water. A lot thicker. But again, not very varied. It's all you can smell is the peat and smoke. That hint of fruit's gone now. Wasn't a lot of spice really in that one. It does say that it was very, very smooth and very flavour neutral across the tongue. No tingliness, no spiciness, just that full flavour of peat. So the smoke tends to rise up the throat and then straight up into the nasal cavity up here. That's where that lingers. The peat across the tongue, across the roof of the mouth. I do like it. I obviously I want to like this one, being my granddad's favourite whiskey, who's no longer with us. But I do think I've definitely adapted my taste through the history of this channel, and this, from what was finish it quickly, get it out of the way, I quite like this. This is a one that it's almost a bit more of a sophisticated flavour. Very, very smooth still, even without the water. I suppose the only downside I could say to this is that it is so much peat and smoke, which is absolutely fine if that's what you like. I would maybe say do what I've done after my initial taste in this one. If you're new to whiskey, work up to this one, because this is very, very full flavoured, very peaty, such a rich amount of peat and smoke that fills your head essentially after you've drank this one. It is nice. I don't regret buying a second bottle of it. As you can see, as I say, I've drank a fair bit of this in my own time, and I had to force myself not to drink anymore so I could do this video. Interesting to note there as well, I didn't mention it, it's on the tube here, which will be easy to show you. The emblem there. It's by appointment to HRH, the Prince of Wales, distiller and supplier of single malt Scotch whisky. So this has the warrant the royal seal, which I guess that means Prince Charles likes a glass of Laphroaig. Yeah, so there's not much I can say. It is what I expected. Obviously, I've tasted it before, but it is what I would have expected going into this on a blind taste, when it says the most richly flavoured of all Scotch whiskies, and it mentions peat and smoke. You know what it's going to be delivering. It's going to deliver peat and smoke, and that is what it is. It's a whiskey that is... I'm going to use the word overpowered, but it's not overpowering to the senses, but the flavour is overpowered by the peat and the smoke. And that certainly it has its own place in the whiskey world. A lot of people, I imagine, really like the peaty, smoky flavours of the island whiskies in particular. So if it is one you want to try, it is available in supermarkets. It's obviously available on websites. What I'm saying is it's very easy to get hold of. Give it a go if you're feeling adventurous, or if you like the peated stuff. You won't be disappointed with that one. And that's about it. We've got one more tasting video this year, which is next week. I have that right here. I'm going to film this straight away. Highland Park Valkyrie. I haven't opened this one yet. New release, that one, from what I can tell. Go more into that next month. And then we'll be doing the top 3 of 2018. Some real contenders in there. There's also been some that, you know, not going to come anywhere near. But yeah, it's going to be tough to decide those 3, and that's coming up before the end of the year. So thank you for joining me this month. I am getting it out in November. I'll try and get that out today. And then I'll be back next month with Highland Park Valkyrie and the best of 2018. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers. See you next month.